talking. Welcome to FTB Weekends for the 21st of January, 2023. I almost said 2022. I am Jason C. McLean, and it is currently 12:39 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in case you're wondering, in case things develop since we record this. Welcome, as always, Dawn McSweeney. How's it going, Dawn?
Hello, it's good.
It's good. Okay, so great. So we're going to continue talking now. I mean, last night it looked like the bloodline was about to break up on SmackDown. Roman Reigns was finally going to kick Sami Zayn out. But then, wait. That's
No,
right.
not
We got to
this
talk
one.
about like news and stuff, right? We can't talk about
Well,
wrestling
I
this
mean,
time.
let me tell you, wrestling is far more credible at this point than some of the things. Anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
more on
Okay,
that
so
later.
more on that later. Let's talk about beautiful. Would you like to go to Davos, Switzerland? I hear it's really
No,
nice this time of the year.
no.
No?
So here's the thing, you know who does want to go to Davos, Switzerland while they're having this economic conference is international sex workers, because apparently demand for sex workers, when all these billionaires for some reason get in one spot, you could make a lot of dollars if you holla holla holla. So that's one side effect of the economic conference that people don't
Just to
maybe talk
clarify,
about.
we didn't introduce it properly. It's the World Economic Forum is currently happening in Davos, Switzerland.
As I
Go on.
called it and will continue to call it, fluffers fluffing each other.
Yes,
Billionaires
fluffers.
talking about things that they take their private jets to go pretend to care about, when really they're just interested in making more money for themselves. Economics as a science is skewed and flawed and really utilized for rich people to get richer and evade taxes. Now, children, next part is the Davos Standard hashtag, whereby they are using all sorts of air purifiers and filters in their spaces at Davos, that everybody, all the rich people and people in power said, we're just not going to help keep people safe. But science, of course, has proven that COVID is airborne and you need these filters and everything. So while they're not in our schools or workplaces or malls, they are certainly protecting billionaire old people from getting sick.
Okay. That said, there's one billionaire who I think is not showing up in Davos, who's actually been, I don't know if you saw this, and actually been sort of like making snide remarks. I mean, it's kind of like billionaires fighting billionaires, but apparently Elon Musk was somewhat critical of the, I think they just don't want
He
him in the
said it was
club.
boring. He said the reason he didn't go is because it looked boring. It wasn't some grand social statement. He just thinks it looked boring. And honestly, if I had billions of dollars, it doesn't look like what I would do for a fun time.
But apparently he wasn't invited.
Cool. I mean, I don't know that I would be insulted by that either. It's just, it is it is so astronomically delusional.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
and there are like literally people protesting outside. They're like, don't bring your darkness to our country. Get out. We don't want you here. And really, it's just, this is the same one that I was reading. I think it was 2020 or whichever year, because they all blurred. But Rutger Berman, who's a historian in Denmark, I know it's random, but follow. So he was at the same Davos conference as Sir David Attenborough and Jane Goodall. And what he did was he said, isn't it funny that we all got together and 15,000 or 100 or however many, all these private jets came to talk about how we should save the environment and do philanthropy. When at the end of the day, what they need to be talking about is how to stop evading taxes so that we could actually save the world. So it's really just ego stroking and a trade of money, some sex workers thrown in, and just a bunch of patting on the back. It's an atrocious waste of time and space.
yes. Well, I mean, it's there's a ski resort. There's sex workers. There's the good air. It sounds kind of fun. I'm being sarcastic. I don't believe in capitalism,
Facetious. You're being
but
facetious, but it should draw attention to the fact, as some of the, I think it's there's a school COVID schools Twitter account that I forget the name of right now, that tracks COVID cases in Montreal schools. By the way, COVID, we had more COVID deaths than ever before. Like, this isn't over. We are living with it, but we would live with it healthier and happier if we just instituted simple things like air filters in our classrooms and our spaces, instead of having the government tell us that it somehow wasn't cost effective or useful when billionaires are using it. So it is.
well, okay. Have you ever seen? You watch the Knives Out movie or the sequel Glass Onion?
Not even a little bit.
Okay, well, there's a scene in there that I think it's right at the very beginning. It kind of talks to what you're talking. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking before they get on the boat. I'll just say that for those of you who have seen it. It's pretty much kind of a summary of that. But I mean, yeah, so this is going on. Greta Thunberg got arrested. She got arrested protesting extraction in Germany.
Okay.
Okay, so that's something.
I mean,
And
shout out
yeah, but even,
protesters gonna go get arrested.
yeah, a few times. Yeah, so but
Respect.
of course, and of course, what's not good is we had some like climate deniers or people from Canadians, kind of this right wing media, I think the Rebel or something like that. They were there, like they confronted the head of Pfizer to probably talk some anti-vax stuff. But that's just a annoying, makes Canada look bad. I think makes Canada independent media look bad when that's what we're known for. Anyways, back in Montreal, there's a lot of fun stuff going on now. We have our shows this week. You write that column, Don. You're every week. It's the different shows. There was a concert on Thursday. There's with there's some shows this weekend coming up that you covered. You remember what
Yeah.
was in there, right?
Wildfire is a great play down at La Chapelle, which I didn't know existed and is not far from, everything. And it's a tiny little theater. It was very cute. And it was very packed with media folks who all seemed very impressed, which I have to say, I've seen a room full of media folks not be impressed. And this was obviously, it's a great play. It's a weird play. Um, so just leave your expectations at the door and go with the feelings.
Yeah, that's great.
And my review of it is fire, so go read my words.
Yeah, Samantha, you were very impressed with that. Samantha Gold also went and saw a play this week or last week.
What'd you see?
Johnny Legdick.
You know what? Somebody in my actual somebody I actually know was excited about that one. So I heard this name before I even saw her review up.
I think that one comes back sort of routinely. Anyways, you also had some food. You got to
I
eat.
did have some food with Fiona Genevieve. She runs a Molotov cuisine, I believe it's called. Don't quote me on that, but check my article. The words are in there. And yeah, she's into fermentation and all this cool stuff. And so she's gonna have this Jardin d'Hiver at the end of January. You're gonna want to get tickets. It's dinner and a show. There's gonna be burlesque. Mina Menu is there, and there's gonna be it's all very wholesome. She's bringing summer flavors to winter, and so it through fermentation and preservation. And we talk about how great that is and the problem with food waste as well.
Okay, that's
And she
that's
fed me, and it was so good.
that was fun. Yeah, it's always nice to trudge through the snow and get some food, some like warm food, some home cooked food. Yeah, so that's that's going on. Also, so keep watching. Checking forgetthebox.net
Because we're looking at some cool things. We're looking at some cool things, some side projects, some things to maybe get in, some side bits that you can tune into to watch some maybe nerdier stuff or more niche things or
oh, we have another
more
thing. That's another
casual
thing
things.
we're talking. That's actually going to be on a separate site.
It
Possibly
is,
that
but
we're talking
you'll
about in
be
the
able to
future.
click.
We're not going to go into too many details, but we might continue, for example, that wrestling discussion, or also the new Picard season's coming out. There's the Mandalorian season 3 is coming out.
If I get
Dawn
my way,
likes
there
the
will be
Desperate
housewives.
not the Desperate House. I had to make that joke a second time. The Real Housewives.
So many housewives. There are some shows I can't watch because I can't tell the girls apart, but I'm not going to say who because that's kind of insulting. But when you all have the same plastic surgeon and hairdresser, girl, I don't know which blonde you are. Okay,
Yeah, okay, so that's something coming up. But for now, you can keep it local. You can follow Dawn McSweeney at McMoxie on Twitter and Instagram, me at Jason C. McLean on Twitter and Instagram. Forget the Box on Twitter and Instagram too, of course. And of course, if you're watching this, you can follow Forget the Box on Facebook. If you're seeing this on Facebook, if you're seeing this on YouTube, smash that like button, follow Forget the Box, ring the bell for notifications all. And also subscribe to our mailing list. Every Sunday we send an e-newsletter which has some of our best content from the week. We also, if there's breaking news and it's relevant, we'll update you through the newsletter. Also, there's going to be some exclusive contents, and you can do all of that. Yeah, you can do all of that, and you can do much more through our Android app, but also by checking out forgetthebox.net. And we'll catch you next week for another FTB weekend.